80s, so we're 87, 88 at this stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something interesting happened earlier in the 80s, right? As the band was forming, was it around the time the band was forming Iceland's first bank robbery?
Yes.
How was Rikshaw connected to Iceland's first bank robbery?
You should ask. Well, I've never spoken about this publicly, but what had happened, Rikshaw was formed, and, you know, we were just sort of in the trenches still. We were rehearsing day and night, and sort of giving it our all and stuff. And what happened is I have a younger brother by a year and a half, and we were sort of raised like twins. We had the same room, bunk beds, clothes. We were really raised like twins. But, you know, as we sort of started to slide in our teens, we became sort of diverge into different things. I went into music, and so he just went another route. And it was a very troubling route. He was always into mischief as a child and a young boy, and there's always something going on with him. And so one day, you know, or one evening, it's all in the news that there's been Iceland's first bank robbery. And we're like, wow, and a masked man, and, you know, came out with a sawed-off shotgun and aimed it at these two guys that were bringing the money from that day's take. In Iceland, there weren't liquor stores. It was government-run sort of liquor monopoly, and at the end of, you know, Friday, they would bring it to sort of the night deposit box outside of a bank. And he had gotten that information when he was on a trip from another Icelander who worked in that store. And they were drinking him, this guy that worked there, and my brother and his friend. And they're having drinks, and he tells them everything. He tells them the schedule, how much, what to look for, and everything. I mean, I don't know what possessed him to do it, but I made him think it was a great idea. But my brother and his friend decided to do this robbery. And it was an armed robbery. It was very dangerous. And he pointed a loaded shotgun at these two guys that were making the deposit. He even shot their tire out. And so, you know, he made his getaway and blah, 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 and he got away. And now all of a sudden it's all over the news that there's this hunt for this violent, dangerous bank robber. And for the first time ever, you know, it's introduced in the news that the Icelandic police now actually have a SWAT team, which nobody knew. I mean, Icelandic cops were never armed or anything. And now we have these armed cops, SWAT team, you know, scouring, looking everywhere for this armed robber, dangerous armed robber. And I come home from practice one night and it's in the news, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's unbelievable. Nobody could believe it. But in fact, you know, there was sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing with some Icelanders that, you know, they thought it was good because liquor was very expensive, hard to get. And, you know, a lot of them felt good that somebody got some of the money back at the time before.
Robin Hood type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. A few days later, I don't remember, it's all kind of blurry, but a few days later, you know, my father says, hey, your cousin is getting married back in New York. I'd love for you to, you and your younger brother, we should go. Your mother can't make it, blah, blah, blah. We should go. And I was like, wow, really? He goes, yeah, I'll pay for it, everything. We're going to the wedding. And I was like, fantastic. So we go to the airport. You want to hear this part, right? So we go to the airport, and, it was the old airport, not the one that people see today when they go to travel to Iceland. But we're in the old airport, and we check in, our bags, everything, and we're sitting in the cafeteria, and it's loaded with passengers waiting for the call to go board. And we bought a sandwich and coffee or water or Coke or whatever, and we're having a chat. And then all of a sudden I notice we're the only ones sitting there. Everybody's gone. We hadn't noticed. And I said to my father, I said, did they just announce that they were boarding? And all of a sudden we're surrounded by armed men, with a lot of them with sort of the masks, the SWAT masks and the whatnot. And it was surreal. It was like a scene from a South American movie or something, Nicaragua or something like that. And then plainclothes policemen come up and they say, get up, you're being charged with a robbery, bank robbery, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you guys? And I was like, we're going to miss our flight. And I was livid, but I was shocked at the same time. It was surreal, really, because you couldn't believe it was happening. I mean, nothing can prepare you for something like that. And long story short, we were arrested, we were handcuffed, my father included, and we were driven back to Reykjavik in separate cars, which at that time was a 45-minute journey. And then we were brought to brought into sort of our Scotland Yard type of thing for questioning. And I was so livid, I couldn't believe, I thought I looked upon them as being sort of the Keystone Cops. I go, what kind of bumbling idiots are you? Yeah, you and your brother, they accused me, you and your brother robbed the bank. And I'm like, are you insane? And you made us lose our flight. You're going to pay for the tickets. I mean, that's how angry I was. But they kept us there for hours and hours until it was dark. I think it was like 11 or 11:30 at night. And they said, okay, get up. And then they ferried us to this jail, which is a solitary confinement jail. And there we were just put in. I mean, I didn't see my father. I didn't see my brother. But they put us in solitary confinement, which is really, what you think it is. It's just, a steel door with a little window for food or whatever. And then there's just a mattress and not even a table, a lone seat, and a light on 24 hours and no window except at the top, which is fog window. So you can't see out, but you can see if it's daylight or dark. And, there I was for the more than a week, I think 8 or 9 days. And so...
did you have any suspicion that it might be your brother at this stage?
No, not at all.
Never.
I thought they were completely insane. I just didn't. No way. Although, which is kind of weird in hindsight, because my brother, a lot of times he was up to no good. He had issues, he had problems, but I just didn't put it together because this was again, you got to remember, this is isolated Iceland. 250,000 people, one television station, one radio station, which is government owned and run. And, and so this is the big news. There's no internet, there's no online, there's nothing. This is it. And then then you find out, our names are all over the paper and in the front pages. And, there's only one Scobie family in Iceland.